Hey YouTube, I haven't made a tutorial on this channel yet, so I thought I'd go ahead and make my first one, and it's going to be on how to scan Polaroids, or at least how I scan Polaroids, because there's lots of ways to do it. Alright, so first, why would you want to scan your Polaroids? Well, I like to print my Polaroids, and I also like to share them in these videos. So what's the challenge? Why is there a need for a tutorial? Well, Polaroids are shiny. That introduces all kinds of issues, and I'll elaborate on those later. The easiest way for most people to scan your Polaroids is probably going to be to just use the Polaroid app on your phone. Takes a couple seconds, you end up with a low quality scan, but it's good enough for social media, Instagram, whatever you want to slap it on. The slightly more complicated way to scan your Polaroids is to just chuck them on any old scanner. Now, you're going to get a good result from that. However, two shiny surfaces in contact with each other is going to cause some interference. And that interference is going to manifest in your scans in the form of Newton rings. These can be difficult to remove, they're unsightly, they don't look good. It's best to just avoid them if you can. That's my opinion. You've tried your cell phone, you're not happy with it, you've chucked your Polaroid on a scanner and you've witnessed the horror of the Newton rings. What do you do now? So you're probably going to do what I did. You're going to buy an adapter. Or you're going to try to make your own like I did. It was awful. It didn't work. It did not work. So anyway, I ended up buying one. An adapter is a device that raises the Polaroid just ever so slightly off that glass. That's going to do two things. It's going to do one good thing, which is eliminate your Newton rings. And it's going to do one bad thing, which you're now probably going to get an out of focus scan. Most of you probably have access to a scanner somewhere in your house, right? It's probably attached to a printer. It's probably an all-in-one. The problem with that is it's probably a contact scanner, which means that whatever you're scanning has to be in direct contact with the glass or else you're going to get an out of focus scan. That's the problem I had for a really long time. And honestly, I just dealt with it for a while because it was better than the Newton rings. However, now that I've started printing my Polaroids, I prefer to have a nice, sharp result. So, I had to finally bite the bullet and go ahead and find myself a CCD scanner or a photo scanner. An Epson V600 is what I got. Any of those Epson Perfection photo scanners are going to probably have CCD scanners. As long as it's meant to scan film, it's probably going to work to scan Polaroids. The reason you want a CCD scanner is because the sensor has a greater depth of field than a contact scanner. So it'll actually scan at and slightly above the surface of the glass, which is perfect. That's what you want because that's where your Polaroids are. Because you don't want those pesky Newton rings. Alright, now that y'all have some context, let's talk about my process. So, you're going to want a couple tools. You're going to want compressed air in some form, either, a can of compressed air from Walmart or a rocket blower. They both work. You want to get as much dust off of your Polaroid and the surface of your scanner as you can. Second thing you're going to want is a microfiber cloth because you have oily fingers, unless you just washed them. But they're going to get oily soon again anyway, and you will likely leave fingerprints on your Polaroids, and those are just almost as hard as Newton rings to remove in my opinion. So give them a good wipe down, take a minute and reflect your Polaroid around, see if there's any crud still stuck on it. The more time you spend on the scanning process, the less time you have to spend in the computer or scanning again. The next thing you're going to want is some double-sided tape. Normal tape works too. You kind of have to roll it into a little ball and stick it, but double-sided tape works better because it works longer. It's just nicer to have this. The last thing you're going to want is an adapter. This is the Brooklyn film camera adapter, and it will scan up to 4 Polaroids at once. Save yourself a lot of time doing 4 at once, trust me. Alright, so let's get into it. Alright, I'm going to just place these Polaroids here on this adapter and give them a good wipe down. I like to make sure that they're pressed up into the upper corner just for consistency. Make sure there's no fingerprints on those bad boys. Give them a quick blast of air. Alright, now we go over here to the scanner, give it a quick blast of air, and pop that adapter on there. Alright, now that we're over here at the computer, I'm going to open Epson Scan 2. I'm using my Epson V600, document mode, scanner glass, color, 1200 dpi. Now I like to scan in TIFF because I treat these like they're a raw file. It's pretty important that you name your scans, at least I think it is. Helps me keep track of what camera, was for what. And then you can also select the location where the scanning software will send those files once they're created. So I have them sent onto a hard drive into a folder called scans, and this is where they're going to end up. Alright, let's get started. Hit that preview button, and I'm going to, through the power of editing, going to speed that process up. Alright, so we have 2 pictures here, and I'm going to go into the advanced settings, and I have my brightness set to -20, and that's pretty much it for the advanced settings. There's nothing really else changed in there. Alright, so this is why we're in document mode, because you can select scan areas. If you're in photo mode, you have to scan the entire thing and then crop them later, which you might prefer that. I don't. Yeah, anyway, so we're gonna really fine tune the scan area here so we can crop as little as possible later. Go ahead and get this other one now. Fine tune that scan area. All right. Make sure it's at 1200 dpi. 600 works pretty good too, but I like to print these, so we're going to do 1200. Okay, scanning. And through the magic of editing, that was almost instantaneous. In reality, that takes a couple minutes. All right, and the software opened the folder that they're in for me, so I'm going to open up Lightroom. I'm going to go ahead and create a new album for these 2 scans. Oh, scan video 2. Okay. Add 2 photos. Okay, there they are. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is crop the edges down. Going to go ahead and do that on both scans. Straighten that one a little bit. Cropped a little too much there. Alright, so now the next thing that I'm going to do is switch this into monochrome because it is a black and white photo. Polaroid black and whites kind of turn brown over time. Alright, so I have created a preset to do that. Oh, it turned it back to color. Okay, let's fix that. Alright, here we go. I've made a preset for my Polaroids. It's available down below to download if you'd like to download it. Okay, gonna copy paste those settings. Oh, okay, now this is the part. I have sped this section up significantly just to respect y'all's time. You can spend literally hours getting dust and specks off of your scans. At some point, it's going to be good enough eventually, I literally probably spend 5 to 10 minutes on this one scan just getting little tiny specks of crap off of them because I like to print these pretty big, so those small things are going to show up. Alright, well that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped you out. If it did, I'd really appreciate it if you'd drop a like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.